Okay, I'm back using this camera, the broken one. I've got the broken camera, and then I've got the camera that doesn't take good video. Well, we're back using the broken one now. It's not really broken. It is. It's just slightly not functioning in the way it intended. But at least the battery works now, but I really need to get a new camera. But as long as I have something that takes a video, I'm going to continue using it until I have to start recording on the phone. I'm not recording on the phone. Anyway, I wanted to show some of the progress on this. This is going to be part of the next video. I'm not going to upload this just as its own thing, but this will be part of the next video once I get, I don't want to say when I get it complete, but once I get more. The front panel I'm not really going to do much with. I've got to glue this because it's kind of starting to separate there. I was originally going to take this apart and paint this because it's got a little bit of rust in the corner, but this is the original paint and it's really not in bad shape, so I think I'll just leave that. And I have to glue these, and I might, popsicle stick would be too wide. I don't know, I'm gonna have to get something to put in there and glue it in though. Oh, there's another spider. I swear there's spiders all in everything. Here's the sleeve. I painted it just with some crap that I had laying around there. See, I can zoom in and out, but it takes forever for some reason now. Just some stuff that was under the house. Not really the correct color, but it's kind of fine, I guess. I did clean it, but I didn't like take a razor blade and take all this stuff off. It just doesn't really matter that much. It'll be in something that'll be covered, that part anyway. I painted this thing black as well. This goes here. And I painted all this black, not the coil. It just looks black because it's dirty, but I painted all this. I did the compressor, and this is with, I don't know what I did with it, but it was just some black, supposed rust converter spray paint type stuff. You can supposedly spray it directly on rust and it'll help with stopping it. So yeah, I did the compressor, and there's some runs, but those were already there, so I think somebody must have painted it or something in the past. I did all that. I can't really move it right now, but I did the front, inside there, it's supposed to be black too, so I did that. Once this is dried, I'm gonna have to clean this pan out because there's still crap in there. Yeah, I got some overspray on it from the other stuff, but that doesn't really matter. I got this wire brush. I'm going to use this to clean up the rust and stuff, and also the terminals and whatnot. And I've got this. This is the good stuff for rust. Is you brush it on. It's not spray paint, and it's oil based. That's what you want. You want oil based. You don't want to use none of that latex, none of that shit. Oil based is what you want to use on stuff that you actually care about, that has, if it's like rust in there, it'll stop the rust. It might not look great, but I don't really care. I'm going to coat the inside of the pan, all back here and stuff. I got to pull the coil out and do under there. And this, I'm not really going to worry about this too much. I mean, it's rusted, you can see just flaking off, but only right to about there. After that, it's solid. So, not too worried about that. I've put a drain hole in here. You can't really see it, it's under the coil, but it's back there. Might put another one in this corner. Still got to get the correct run caps before I can really run it for more than like 10-20 seconds, because I don't want to damage anything. Of course, you got to clean this coil. This coil is disgusting. You should see all the crap that came out of it. It still has good airflow, but it's pretty bad. And yeah. And yes, I did get some paint on these loops. I did all this. Oh, I did all, this metal. I got some paint on the loops here, and then, yeah, I hit this too, the suction line and this line. And well, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're doing it and posting it on the internet, someone's going to tell you how you're doing it wrong. And that's fine, because it doesn't matter what it is, you're going to be doing it wrong if you're doing it on the internet. someone else is going to know better than you, but whatever. I don't really care. I know this might reduce, well, not on here, but like on the hot lines, it might reduce efficiency very, very slightly. But if you're worried about efficiency, maybe you shouldn't be using a 1960s air conditioner with a giant reciprocating compressor. If you want performance, get something like this, but efficiency, meh. But as most of you know, at least if you're interested in air conditioners and stuff like that, energy efficiency is a crock of shit. You know, a new one might have a better energy efficiency rating and take less power, but it's going to run twice as long, so whatever. Anyway, that's the update of this for now. I will make another video, or I will update. Oh, it's raining. Anyway, I will update when I move further ahead, which should be coating the pan. Okay, so here's what's going on with the air conditioner now. I've gotten the coil pulled back out of it, and now you can see the front. Well, no, you can't because the camera's all fogged up. But that camera. Here we go. I still got to get some proper like foam or something to put in there, but you can see all this is, and the camera's doing that zooming in thing again. All painted black. Of course, this goes on here like this. Now the buttons were not originally black. They were like silver, but they were like plastic that had that silver coating type stuff on them. It was all coming off and they looked really bad. So I didn't shield them. I just went ahead and painted the buttons black as well. And obviously, since this button's like a little wooden dowel, you know, you can't even tell the difference really now unless you really look at it. And of course, these buttons work really well. I mean, they're really easy to push. Gotta see if I can clean this thing up, because it looks kind of bad, but I don't think I really can. But of course I didn't paint over this plate, not that it's got much useful information left on it. Let's see here. The other day I said this was the model number. This is not the model number, that's the serial number. This is the model number, 7AC53. You can see 6,800 BTU, 875 watts, and 7.5 amps. Looks like 875 watts. Jeez. I mean, well, that's not too bad, but I think that's a pretty bad energy efficiency rating. But as we know, that's all a bunch of shit anyway. Anyway, I've got the inside of the pan painted to there. I've got to get around there, but you can see, you know, I've done the inside. Obviously, once that dries, I'm going to do another coat, you can see, because these pits kind of, you know, it all went into the pit there, and then, anyway, yes, I got white. Did not mean to do that, but, I mean, it's the same stuff. I meant to get black. This is gloss white. But you know, it's going to be inside of a sleeve. No, but I mean, it's not, well, most air conditioner pans are white anyway. It doesn't really matter. I did back here, I'll hit that again anyway, just because I have this whole thing of paint, and it was like $10 for that little tiny can, so might as well use it. But, you know, the original paint was still somewhat intact back here, so it's not too bad. Here's where I'm really worried about, and I gotta still clean out and get over there. I just hit it with a wire brush. I'm also going to use, before I put this thing back on, I'm going to take the connections off these terminals and hit them with the wire brush, of course, really gently, because I noticed that the terminals on this thing were really kind of corroded and they were getting a bit warm, so I want to clean those up as best as I can, because I don't want anything to start arcing or anything like that. other than that, I've still got to clean the damn coil here, but I can do that once it's back together. Really would rather not, but once I put this back in here, I'm not pulling it out again. I don't want to keep bending this back and forth. Not that it's really bending, it's kind of just springing, but you know, I still don't want to keep going back and forth on it. Just kind of paranoid about that. So yeah, inside of the pan is coated, except for on that side. I still got to get over there. Yeah, I hit the bottom of the compressor a bit, and yeah, I missed the compressor. I didn't paint the compressor there. That's just dirt. That's not rust or anything. But the compressor, for the most part, is looking pretty good with the semi-gloss on there. So that's the update for that. Oh yeah, and I painted the sleeve. I think I showed this already. I hit it with a second coat. Not exactly the color I would have chosen, but I had it already, so it's what we're using. And at a glance, you know, it looks alright. If you look really close, you know, you'll see things like this. That's not really an issue with the painting, that's more of an issue of not scraping. I could have got like a razor and scraped it off, but you know what? Especially when it's blurry like that, it doesn't matter all that much, you know. Once again, this thing, you know, I just wanted to hit it just so it looked a bit better. I'm not too concerned about the cosmetics. I just don't want it to start rusting, or in this case, continue rusting to the point of issues. But I don't think we have to worry about that too much. I also hit this, and obviously on this side I got it with the spray paint. And, you know, supposedly, and on the bottom of this, you know, all the way up here, that supposedly is rust-stopping spray paint, but it's like, really, if you want it to work, you need to use oil-based stuff. So, anyway, there's that. Oh, and yeah, I did something really stupid. I broke the knob. Of course I did. I was thinking, okay, I need to be careful and not break the... and there it broke. So, I mean, it'll still work. And, I mean, this kind of thing doesn't really bother me unless I did it, and I did do it. So it bothers me. Other knob is okay. Of course, the one that, you know, the vent knob is fine, but the thermostat knob is the one that's broken. Go figure. But yeah, I've got to get this cleaned up somehow. I'm going to try to clean it up a bit. I don't think it's going to clean up too well. And I'll probably tape this off and paint this bottom part. You know, tape the rest, like, there. Yeah, it's chipping a bit. I might just leave it. NEMA ratings plate can go back on, I guess. Where does it go? Right there? Yeah. Looks like shit, but... you know, you can still see the numbers. Anyway, I will check back when there's something to check back about. Okay, so I've got this part of the pan coated. It's done coated. I had to put, I think it was 3 or 4 coats on it, you know, using this stuff. I still got probably half a can left, and I actually, and you're gonna, you know, go ahead and roast me for this. It looks like shit, but it's better than it was. I painted the X-Star. Yeah, you know, oh, you can't even see. So before I show you how bad it is, my goal was to make it look good from about this distance, and it does. So a while back I painted the, oh God. A while back I painted the, you know, this back part of the grill here black, and then I just painted the Friedrich logo white again, and I painted this, and yeah, I mean, if you look at it, you can tell, I mean, it's not a very good job. It's, yeah, you can see the brush strokes and stuff. If I put another coat on it, it'd probably be fine, but I'm not going to do that. But, you know, it looks better than it did. And like I said, my point was to make it look better from about 10 feet. From about 10 feet, it looks brand new. Anyway, and no, I have not drain hole modded this unit. Being in a shed here and how hot this shed is normally, I want it to have every little bit extra help it gets. And you know, I've got to say, I'm very happy with the performance of this unit in this building. I think, what is that, a 6,700, it's basically only a 7,000 BTU unit. It's kicking ass. I mean, it's not as hot right now, but earlier today it was like 97 degrees, and right now I'd say it's a good 76 maybe in here, and I set to 60. I mean, it's been running constantly. There's no way it's getting it to 60. Let's see. Where are we? Right there. Yeah, I'd call that a good 76 right there. So, yeah, this thing's doing really well. And it's doing a great job dehumidifying as well. So, yeah, this unit's really doing really well, especially when you consider that there's no insulation in here. I mean, there's this, but I mean, see the big gaps there? You can't really call this insulation. That's doing absolutely nothing. And that goes all the way around, I'm sure. Anyway, so I've got the inside of the pan here coated with the stuff here. I did back here, I think I only did a couple coats back here. I'm not too worried about this because this is where the original paint still was. But here, and I dripped some down here. That's kind of annoying, but I'll respray it black at some point. I also went over the corners of this because they were, well, they weren't rusty, but I don't want them to get there. So, this coil's got to be cleaned. I kind of want to do that while it's out of the unit. But I can't really move it with it like this, and I don't want to pull it back out, so I think I might just kind of set it back in. I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, this is coated. It's dry. It's still a little bit sticky, so I'm not going to put it back together quite yet. But, yeah, it's coated, and I got, you know, along the back here, too, pretty good. So we should be alright. I scraped most of the rust off, and we should be alright. I'll get it, but once I get it back together, I'm going to do, you know, in that corner of the pan as well, even though there's no rust over there except for like on the very edge. That's fine. I've ordered the proper capacitors, 15 microfarad and 4 microfarad, and I've still got to get down in here. If you look in there, I got all of this crap down in here, but I just can't figure out for the life of me how to get in there. I can't pull this wheel off. This thing is rusted onto the shaft. I'm sure I could get a wire wheel and clean it all up, but I'd rather not. I'd rather it just get it off, get in there somehow else. I thought this was supposed to pull down, but it doesn't. I don't want to pull the coil out. I mean, I can kind of get back in there like that, but I need to get in there so I can suck all that shit out. Because, well, how the hell does I still don't understand. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, that really has to come out, because if you look, oops, see this here, this little spout thing right here? It's actually a bit plugged up right now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some of that. I'm gonna have to clean that and get like a coat in there. But like, there's like a spout here. This is the condensate drain. And it's got like fuzzball and shit in there. Yeah, that's gotta be cleaned. It's not plugged because it was dripping the other day when I was testing it out through there. But I do need to get in there and clean it. But anyway, all this crap was on the coil. So the coil just kind of drips down into here and then goes through there. See the light coming through? That's that hole. And all that old dirt and shit in there is going to get all wet. And it's going to get wet, and in a cool, moist environment, that's going to create mold like nobody's business. So we got to get that shit out of there. I just don't know how the hell I'm going to get in there. Do I have to... I mean, this is solid... I can't pull this coil out. I'm going to have to take this damn blower wheel off, I think. And that is going to be a pain in the ass. Anyway, I'll fire it up for you real quick, just so you can hear it one more time while it's apart. It starts right up, it runs beautifully. That compressor sounds really good. Obviously the fan motor still spins freely. And this thing's getting cold. Of course it's blowing most of its air up through here now because I don't have the top on, but it is running. I don't want to run it too long, obviously, because the run cap and because this coil's not getting any air across it. What do you think I should do with the fan motor? I wanted to ask. Well, I'm not going to ask because I'm going to upload the video before. Anyway, so oh, come on, lamp. Oh, are you going to be all loosey? Did something just break inside of there? Okay, my lamp just got all loose on me. Anyway, so it's got this, you know, these little plugs, and that's where you put oil, and that one's fine, but this one back here, I don't know if you can see that. Oh, there isn't even a plug in there. Well, that's not good. There's dirt and shit down in there, so I'm going to have to get something and get that out of there and get the oil in there, and then find something like this to put back in it, because we certainly don't want water getting all down in the bearing. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do something about that. So I'll come back once there's something else to share. And I see the camera's already zooming in on itself. Okay, so as you can see, I've removed the blower wheel. It wasn't halfway as bad as I was expecting it to be. I just took some sandpaper and sanded the fan shaft there. Where'd the sandpaper go? Got a bunch of crap off of there. And if you've never done it before, you know, don't go like this. Turn the fan on. Just go like that. Sand it much better. Of course, it was still stuck up underneath there, so I sprayed it down WD-30.
Just give it a shot of WD-30, that'll fix it right up.
WD-30? What's that, Ricky?
How the fuck do you not know what WD-30 is, man? Especially a guy who works on cars. What do you use, 5-in-1 oil?
No, I think I've got some WD-40 here, Ricky, but I've never heard of WD-30. I got some 10W30 oil behind the seat there, but...
I mean, that's not the stuff I'm talking about. That works pretty good, but WD-30 is way better. It's in a different color can.
And gave it a good hammering. You know, went backwards, and then I was able to just spin it freely and pull it out. So this is off. I'll clean that separately. It's got some dust on there. I'm not. The camera's zooming in again. Not too worried about that, honestly. Zoom back out. Now you can see. Stupid lamp, quit turning off. Maybe you can see. I don't know. I can't see. All the crap down in there. Get the light better. Yeah. I mean, it's full of shit. So I'm gonna have to clean that out of there. Stupid lamp. This thing's getting all loose. It was perfect when I first started using it. Now it's all loose. I'm gonna have to take it apart and see what the hell's going on. But one thing at a time. So yeah, just figure out what all's going on in there. Like, I see some pretty bad rust. It's not going through, but it's pretty bad in there. So I have to scrape that and maybe paint the inside of here too, because that's pretty bad. I'm not quite sure I like the design of this. It just kind of, the thing drips down in here and this fills up with water and then it just kind of goes through there. I know it doesn't fill up with water, but there's always water in the bottom of here. And this is just like uncoated metal. So I'm not sure about that. But anyway, that's what we'll do. And I'll be back. I'm going to vacuum all that out first and see where we are. Okay, so I sucked a bunch of shit out of there, and it's not perfect, but I think it's about as good as we're gonna get it. I mean, there's no dirt, like piles left in there. Now you can see the way the water works. It just kind of drips down here, and then it gets caught on that ledge there, and then that ledge kind of funnels it back through the drain hole right there. So that's kind of stupid, but it works. I mean, I guess it's lasted this long, right? Please focus in there. I don't want you to focus on this stuff. I want you to focus on down in there. Thank you. So that's pretty good. There's still some rust. I'm going to try to get some of the Rust-Oleum up in there. Yeah, same goes for in here. I mean, I got most of it out. There was a lot of plastered on dust as well, which I got all of that out. That's what I made. So this thing was working really well, but now it's gotten all loose and shit. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna do in there. I found this in there, like a piece of, this might be another asbestos sheet. No, this is just some sort of like tar paper or something. Possibly at one point lined the bottom of that, I don't know. Well, no, because there's only one of them. But at this point, what it would do is hold moisture, so whatever it is, it's coming out. So, yeah. Okay, so I wire brushed it out and painted it black or white in here. And don't worry, I'm aware there are little pieces of dirt and whatnot. This is inside of here. The blower goes on, then the cover goes on. I'm not all worried about any of that, how it looks. I just wanted to coat it with something after I scrape that rust out. And I will go over it with some darker color like spray paint or something. But you know, I missed the corner, and it's trying to focus on this again. So I missed a corner here, but other than that I got it, and I did this here, and that is not, that drain channel there is not blocked. And I did it right up to there, which is about where the rust stops. So we should be good now. Yeah, I didn't really get there. I can't really get there, but you know, it's fine. Okay. So don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure I found out how the how that wire is supposed to hook up. So I've got it hooked up to the fan terminal right now, and I think that's might be where it was connected to begin with, but the old capacitor must have just been bad or something because it wouldn't run. But you can see the wire for the fan is brown, and I'll get to why it's disconnected in a second, and this wire is brown as well, so that's why I put it on the same terminal, and that seems to be working great. The compressor started right up. It's not warm, hot. I mean, it's slightly warm. It's a compressor, but it's not hot. It seems to be running great. It actually started up better. You know, it took it a second to start before. Now it starts right up. Obviously cooling really well. I mean, this suction line is nice and wet. This thing is ice cubes. So I think that's the way to connect it, but I'm not sure. Yeah, my blower wheel's coming loose. I haven't tightened it properly yet. I've lost my Allen key to put it on there, so I gotta do that. Anyway, the problem I was having is that with this wire connected, the fan is not, it won't start, like it won't start on its own. I had to start it by hand. It's acting like the capacitor is not even connected. So that, I think that's because this is a dual run capacitor, and it's not supposed to have a dual capacitor. It's supposed to have, you know, two separate capacitors. It's supposed to have the two separate ones. So I think that's the problem there, but I'm not completely sure. But, you know, we'll see once I get the capacitor, I guess. But I think that's what it's supposed to do. I mean, it's running perfectly. It's not running hot. Sounds perfect. It started right up, everything except for the fan. And it would make sense because, well, the two brown wires going on the same terminal, but I just don't know why the compressor would connect to both capacitors, why that would be a thing. So, yeah, I'm not sure. But it runs great. I mean, it's running great. You can see it's producing condensation. It's only been on for about, what, 30 seconds now. The only reason that noise you're hearing is the fan isn't tightened down on the shaft, so it's sort of spinning. But yeah, it's running great, so I think I figured out the mystery of the wire. Only other question is, I wish I remember, the common here, two separate wires, and I thought one went on one cap and one went on the other, but that doesn't seem to be the case. They need to be sort of connected together. Actually, no. I sort of seem to remember them being connected together somehow, and then there'd be like a jumper? I don't remember. So if somebody has any information on how this capacitor is supposed to wire up, you know, I've ordered the capacitors, but if anybody knows, you know, please let me know. It'd be a lot easier just to know what I'm doing instead of having to figure it out, so, yeah. Well, I keep saying this, I guess it doesn't really matter because by the time this video's uploaded, I've figured it out anyway. Okay, so I got the capacitors. They're 4 microfarad and 15 microfarad. Oh, this little tiny guy. 4 microfarad. It's at 370 volts, so it's way over what the other one was, but yeah, overkill's fine. You just don't want to go up in the capacitance. They're jarred. I've heard of them. They were, I don't know if jarred capacitors are any good or not, but they were the cheapest ones I could find that were from a name that I had heard of. And apparently jarred is made by Mars, and I've heard of them too. Anyway, they were the cheapest ones I could find from a name that I had heard of. I figured they would be better than the cheap, like, ones from eBay that you'd never even heard the name before, like some Chinese company, but jarred, I've heard of them, so they can't be too terribly bad. They're fine. Okay, so I got the capacitors in there, they're mounted. I had to modify this. This is where it screwed in before, and this is where it does now, because, well, the new capacitors are just so much smaller. And the screw's coming loose again. I think I might have to move them over slightly, because the hole where these go into, I think, is kind of, I don't know, they're just loose. I was going to say that hole's getting stripped out, but I guess it's not. Anyway, the capacitors are secured in place. and I had, like I said, I had to modify the mounting strap there, and I'm pretty sure I got the wiring correct. If I am terribly wrong, someone please let me know, but you know, using trial and error, this is the only way it really ran properly, so it can't be too terribly wrong. So let's see here. Here's low fan. High fan. And we'll go to low cool. Compressor starts right up, runs fine, so that's got to be the correct wiring. And it's not like getting hot or anything, of course it wouldn't be already, but so I'm gonna let it run for a while. It's probably it'll be the first time it's ran for more than like 5 minutes in probably over 20 years. So we'll see. Okay, so it's only been running for about 5 minutes, but it's performing great. Nice and cold. I wouldn't say it's ice cold, but I'll get into that in just a second. See the suction line here is nice and cold. It's got water dripping off of it. Whole thing's cold. Compressor's not too incredibly hot. You know, it's hot, but not incredibly hot to where I think something's wrong. Only been running about 5 minutes, but you can see there's this water in the base pan here. Anyway, there's a naturally occurring little pinhole in the bottom here that we call a drain hole. And I'm halfway in between. I don't know. I mean, I see why everyone puts a drain hole in units, and well, I'll see after cleaning this condenser, because right now this air coming out of here is hot. I mean hot. And although it's blowing cold, it's not as cold as I would expect it to. But if I lean the unit this way so that it leans down slightly, you can hear the water kind of go over to that end and the slinger wheels hitting it. The air coming out of here instantly drops from being modern unit cold to being ice cubes. I mean, it instantly starts getting a lot colder. You can see the condensation coming out of there now. That's how cold it is. And if I turn it back this way, you know, after the water drains out of there, it starts blowing. I mean, it's still cold. It's still performing great. It's still performing great, but not as great as it was when I had the water in there and the slinger wheel, you know, whatever. But like I said, this condenser coil is dirty as hell, you can see. So when I clean the condenser coil, it may or may not help. I mean, I'm sure it'll help some, so. If not, I think I might patch that hole in the bottom with some JB weld. And of course I'll put like a larger hole so I can put like a cork or something in there. I don't know, but I don't know. I'm halfway between it because I see why the slinger wheel helps. I don't know if that really helps too much to elongate the life of the unit. And I know that the drain hole definitely helps it not rust out. But on the other hand, this unit is from it's at least from the early 60s. It might even be older than that. So this thing's at least like 60 years old, and it really wasn't even rotted out that bad. And you know, it's been sitting with water sitting in that pan forever. So I don't know. What should I do? Should I fix the hole in the bottom so that the slinger wheel operates as it should, and maybe put like a larger hole with a plug in it so that I can pull it out when I'm, you know, like at the end of the season or whatever, so that the water can drain out? Or should I just leave it like this so that the water can drain out? Or do you want to wait to see how it operates after I clean the coil properly? Because I mean, it's working great. It's collecting. I mean, there's condensation coming all out of there. You can see it. There's just like a constant stream of it coming out of here. I mean, it's operating really great. That's the other thing. This unit is moving a lot of air. It's ice cold, and it's quiet. I mean, okay, it's, well, first of all, the whole unit's inside. Imagine this part back being through a wall. and of course with the case on, but you know, that's super fan. This is quiet cool. I don't know what they call it on this. I think it's just low and high. I don't remember. But show me a unit made today that will operate this well, be as cold as this is. I mean, you turn this thing on, it's instantly cold. It doesn't take 5 seconds to get ice cubes. Show me a unit that's this cold, runs this well, is this quiet, and doesn't make any annoying sounds. Like the new units, yes, they might be just as quiet, but the compressor, those rotary compressors, they kind of go ring, 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 ring. This is a nice, even compressor. This compressor, you can hardly hear it. And the oh, I don't know if you can actually no, you can't see it on camera. There's sort of like frost coming off of this, like you'd see when you open a freezer. That's amazing. Anyway, show me a unit that'll operate this well, be this quiet, run this smoothly. That's a big one. No rattling, you know, no styrofoam making that high-pitched squeaky sound that styrofoam makes. No rattling, no ring, ring, nothing. Just nice, even, quiet, running great. And here's the big one. Show me a modern unit that will last 60 plus years. Hell, show me a modern unit that will still be running properly after 10 years. You can't. They don't exist. But here this thing is running perfectly. And yes, I took it apart. I coated this with paint. You know, I painted all of it because it had some rust in there. I cleaned the inside out. But really, all this unit needed after 60 years, and it would have ran perfectly fine, were 2 new run capacitors. Technically only 1 because the fan still ran when I got it, but I replaced both of them. So after this many years, this unit, all it needed were 2 run capacitors, and it would be fine. All this other stuff, just preventative and cosmetic. Anyway, obviously the restoration's not done, but this unit is now running perfectly. I would hardly call what I'm doing restoring it. I've got to fix the grill here. I've glued these slats that were broken, as well as these 2 little screw mounts. And the rest of the grill is somewhere. Oh yeah, here's the little wheels. And they rotate, you know, on these here. And there's a metal frame for it somewhere. Oh, here it is. Doy. So the metal frame is here, and then this, you know, goes inside of it. And although this is styrofoam, this isn't like that cheap flimsy styrofoam they use now. This stuff is hard as a rock. And I don't mean like brittle hard just because it's old. I mean it's solid. And I can make that annoying squeaky sound. So, yeah, I mean this thing's running great. I'm very pleased with the performance of this unit. Compressor sounds amazing. I will cut the fan off here for a second. Don't do this to your units. It's not very great for them, but for a few seconds it won't hurt. I mean, the compressor sounds absolutely wonderful. Smooth as hell. I mean, you can see how much condensation this thing's making after only 5 minutes. It might be a little bit more. Let's see, 8 minutes and 4 seconds. So it's been running for about maybe 15 minutes now. It's soaking my workbench here. It's just working great. And I mean, this coil's plugged. I'm sure it's gonna, well, it's not plugged, but it is dirty. I'm sure it'll work even better when it's not. I mean, look at, if I put my hand on here and move it, yeah, it's not doing it now. Look, see the condensation that this thing's creating? Put it up to super fan. Yeah, this thing's working perfectly. no, all those years, I mean, there's no service ports on this, so we know it's on its original charge of refrigerant. It hasn't leaked any refrigerant. It hasn't rusted out. Nothing's failed. Fan motor's still perfectly fine. It's the original one. There's nothing wrong with this. There was nothing wrong with this except for those capacitors. I would love to see your modern computerized sissy shit last that long. I mean, really, anything more than like 5 years is a struggle for something made today. Anyway, that is this. I will come back when there's something else to share. Okay, so I just wanted to add, it's been running a little while longer, still doing great. Anyway, I put this thing back on, the piece on the back here, this thing, and yes, this is the correct way. These slats go this way. Anyway, so I'm always very paranoid for some reason about abrasions, like the line vibrating against something and abrating, you know, causing an abrasion and it leaking. So I've made sure this ain't touching anywhere, and it's not. This thing here, right there, keeps it from doing that. And then I've wrapped the, what do you call that thing, capillary tube, and foam and some tape to keep it, because it was kind of touching there, to keep it from doing that. So we should be good as far as that goes. So really, other than putting this thing back together, it doesn't need anything besides for a good coil cleaning. You can see how much condensation is coming from that coil there. Anyway, that's all for that. Stop. So I've got the grill put back on the Philco, and you know, that's how it'll look. Of course, you know, this is the sleeve that it goes in. And here's a concept: an air conditioner that's as old as this is and doesn't have a single bent fin on the coil because they put a guard over it. It's just crazy. They can't come up with this, just a simple metal guard like this. No, that's too much for them to make these days. Anyway, it's running absolutely beautifully. Of course, I still got to come up with a filter. I'm thinking I'm going to put a metal mesh over the fan and then, like, you know, kind of like the back screen there, and then just put a filter on that, like that cut to size type stuff. Should be alright. The only thing about that, so you can easily pull it forward like this to work on it. The only thing about that is, you know, the new units, like, you have this whole surface area, or, well, I say the new units, a standard unit where with the standard way of intaking air, this whole area is the air intake. But this has a smaller air intake. It's just that middle of that blower wheel. So you've got a lot more air moving through there, a lot higher velocity, because it's a smaller area. So you're going to have to be cleaning that filter a lot, because it's going to be getting a bunch of crap in it, since it's such a small surface area with a lot of air moving over it. Anyway, I think the control panel came out pretty good. Still, I mean, it obviously didn't come out perfect. These buttons work really well. Of course, I painted them black, and I'm aware there's supposed to be a silverish color, like yeah, like a silverish type color, and they're not anymore. And you know what else I just noticed? I painted over the night light. I'm gonna have to get something and scrape that off of there, so that I can demonstrate the night light. It's kind of neat. But I painted them black because the silverish was worn off, and they just look like crap, and obviously you can't make them silver again, so I just painted them black. They don't look bad, and this wooden dowel pretending to be a knob or button works out well. The vents work now. Not that I find that feature useful in any way. It's just exhausting cold air out. And of course you can turn these to direct the air. Like if I put them both this way, you know, it's blowing this way. I can put one blowing each way, so one goes this way, one goes that way. I can put them both down, one up, both of them down, both of them up. And if you want it to blow straight out, you just have to turn them both towards each other, and then it'll blow straight out. I can feel it here, you know, they're blowing straight out. And you can kind of angle them upward so that it'll blow straight out, but more upward, but still straight out. Or you can just put them upward and they'll just blow upward. Or basically, limitless ability to change the direction of the airflow. And this thing moves a lot of air. Keep in mind, this thing's only, what is it, we'll call it 7,000 BTU. It's huge. It's huge and heavy, but it works really well. It's very solid. And yeah, it's running great. So basically the only thing really left to do with this thing is to clean the condenser coil. And it'll be done. I gotta come up with the filter and that's it. Okay. Excuse me. Go ahead and start it up. Low cool. Alright. And I'll show you the night light. I discovered something unfortunate, but here you go. It's in the dark. And you can see this little spot here. That's the night light. And if you're thinking that's not doing what it's supposed to do, if you know what the night light on these does, you're correct. It is not doing what it's supposed to do. Unfortunately, it's not going to do what it's supposed to do. So, if you see this little strip here, this is sort of like an optical fiber type thing, and it's dirty. But if I clean it off here, you can see it actually has what the control panel does. See that? Close, open, off, low, high, low, cool, cooler, turn, right for cooler. So this is supposed to light up in the dark so you can see what the buttons do, hence the name night light. But this is supposed to go in here, and this whole thing's supposed to be like plastic, and this shines in here. It's like an optical fiber type thing. I know it's not, but it's like that. But unfortunately the end of this is broken off, so the part that would collect the light from the night light and sort of disperse it out, well, it's broken. So, unfortunately, the night light feature on this unit is not going to work. I'm sure I can come up with something. Crying out loud. Everything has to be such a hassle. Yeah, I'm sure I could come up with something. I mean, there's just like a little neon light in there that has to light this up. I could probably put some wires out here, put a little light in here shining this way, and it would light up. And I might do that at some point, but honestly, I'm not going to be trying to control the air conditioner in the dark other than reaching out, and there's the thermostat and turning it. By the way, the thermostat won't even click off, it's so hot in here. I'm not going to be playing with any of this other stuff in the dark. I wouldn't be. So, I mean, I just don't really see too much of a reason to bother with the night light other than the fact that it's kind of a cool feature that unfortunately is not functional. But what can you do? If a small piece of broken plastic is the worst thing that's happened to this unit functionality-wise in 60-some years, you know, I think it deserves to have that little bit broken. That's fine. Anyway, just wanted to show this unit with the grill on, and I wanted to show the night light, but unfortunately, night light doesn't work. So, yeah. Okay, so here's the last update that's going to be part of this video. So the next day, it's hot. It's like 90 some degrees. Let's see here. Like 95 degrees. And this thing is just pumping away. I turned it on this morning at 11:30. And it's like 3 right now. So it's been running constantly, just letting it run. It's blowing ice cold, running really well, not putting out extremely hot. You know, the coil not completely plugged, so I gotta clean it still. That'll be part of a different video. If there is a video on cleaning it, I don't know. Here's the sleeve. I did paint it just because I thought so. This stuff was already like that. Somebody previously had painted it with a brush, so that's why that was like that. But you know, it's better than it was. And of course, you know, the inside of the pan was coated, all of that. All in here. You can see the... Oops. Accidentally just cut it off. And the camera is zooming in again. Stop it! But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely dripping a river back here. This whole thing is soaked. And there goes the camera. Yeah, I mean, this thing is dripping a lake. I mean, this thing is really doing really well. So, very pleased with that. This unit's running absolutely beautifully. And, I swear. Damn camera. But yeah, I mean, the compressor, it's warm, but it's not hot. So I'm pretty sure I got that wiring correctly. It's been running all day. It's slightly warm. I mean, it's about how you'd expect. And I mean, this thing just got a river coming out of it. Of course, the compressor, I pissed it off. I shut it off on accident. The plug's still in good shape. It's not got molded plug disease or anything. It's slightly warm, but who cares? So, yeah, next video of this thing will be cleaning it. The coils, that is. And other than that, yeah, it's done. So, there you go.